The mystery of the Lake Anjikuni village. On November 26, 1930, a news story was published on the front page of Canada's The Medine Daily Journal with the title, Village of the Dead. This news sent a wave of fear across Canada because an entire tribe in northern Canada had vanished overnight without a trace. Welcome back to LGM TV videos. Viewers, in the remote areas of northern Canada lies Lake Anjikuni. On its shores, in a small settlement, lived a tribe called the Eskimos. About 100 to 150 people lived there, making a living by fishing from this lake. This is an area of northern Canada where, over hundreds of thousands of square kilometers, only a few thousand people live due to the harsh climate. Besides fish in Lake Anjikuni, hunting of other animals was also common in the surrounding area, and many hunters would come here for that purpose. It was a freezing cold day in November 1930. A hunter named Joe LaBelle came to this area for hunting. He became so engrossed in hunting that he didn't realize when darkness fell. He had an idea. Like before, he would spend the night with the Eskimo tribe on the shores of Lake Anjikuni. The people of this tribe were famous for welcoming outsiders, so Joe LaBelle packed his belongings and started walking toward the Eskimo village. It was a moonlit night, but there was complete silence everywhere. Not a single person was visible, nor could he hear anyone's voice. He could only hear the sound of his own footsteps. Although Joe had done this before, something felt different today. Usually, as he approached the village, the dogs kept by the villagers could be heard barking. But today, even upon reaching near the village, there was only desolation and silence. Feeling this, Joe quickened his pace. He thought that perhaps the villagers were asleep or had gone somewhere. From a distance, he could see the village tents, with smoke rising from them. But even as he got closer, he couldn't hear anyone's voice. Finally, when Joe LaBelle entered the village, he was astonished to see that there were no people and no animals. But the surprising thing for Joe was that smoke was rising from some of the houses, as if someone was inside. He randomly went into one tent, but there was no one there. The same was the case with all the tents. Perhaps Joe might have ignored this entire scene and left, but one thing troubled him even more. In some houses, cooking pots were on the stoves, but the food had burned. Meaning, someone had kept food to cook for the night but couldn't eat it. Even the clothes that the village women were sewing were there with the needle still threaded. It seemed as if the villagers had left suddenly. But where did they go? Joe LaBelle started searching the entire village. He saw that the dogs kept by the tribe had ropes tied around their necks, but the dogs had died of starvation. Although food was present in front of the dogs, there was no one to give it to them. At one place, he saw a dug-up grave. Looking at this grave, it seemed that it hadn't been dug too long ago. Seeing all this, Joe LaBelle's distress and fear had increased greatly. He was terrified seeing all this alone at night. When these people go anywhere, they always take their dogs with them. But seeing all this, it seemed that something strange had happened here. Some unforeseen event had forced people to leave suddenly. So forced that they left their dogs, their clothes, their food, and couldn't even put out the burning fire. Joe couldn't bear seeing all this any longer, and quickly reached the nearest telegraph office. From there, he contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police camps and gave them a first-hand account. When the police arrived at the village, everything Joe LaBelle had told them proved true. The police suspected that perhaps someone had attacked and killed all the villagers. But if that had happened, there would have been bloodstains somewhere in the village, or at least some belongings would have been scattered due to the violence. The police immediately started a search operation to find the villagers. During this search operation, a very strange thing was noticed, which perhaps even Joe had missed. The entire village was covered in snow, but there were no footprints on that snow. The only footprints there were of one person, Joe LaBelle himself. Meaning, if besides Joe, no one came to or left from this village, then where did the villagers go? The lake was also frozen. The villagers' boats were parked on the land, because fishing doesn't happen in this season, so the boats were pulled onto the land. If the villagers had swum across the lake to go somewhere, or if someone had killed them and thrown them into the lake, the layer of ice on the lake would have been broken or disturbed somewhere. During the investigation, the police also found out that these people had disappeared just 2 days before Joe's arrival. Dogs don't die from just a day or two of starvation, and the smoke coming from the houses was a sign that they hadn't been gone long, as smoke can continue for a long time even after the wood has stopped burning. The police officers had many questions, but not a single answer. After several months of search operations, the police finally stamped this case as unsolved and closed it forever. Over time, people also forgot about it. 50 years after this incident, In 1984, writers Roger Bohr and Nigel Blunder wrote an article and tried to connect the entire case to aliens. In their article, they claimed that when they went to explore the Lake Anjikuni area, they met a hunter and his two sons there. They said that they had often seen flying objects of various shapes over the lake, heading toward the village where the Eskimo tribe lived. Based on this story, it was suggested that perhaps aliens had landed that night and taken all the villagers with them. Neither writer had any solid proof of the presence of aliens or their attack, so most people didn't believe it and rejected the theory. After that, many people started creating different stories about the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe. But the reality is that nearly 100 years have passed since this incident, and to this day, no one has the answer to the question, where did the people of the Lake Anjikuni village disappear to without a trace? The case of the vanishing Eskimo tribe remains a mystery to this day. We hope you will also like and share this algem